Hello and welcome back to the GameShow Global Esports Cup here on GameShow_D2EN. This is going to be a two-game series between TShow and their opponents. Oh, I forgot to change the stream title. EWolves, rather. As I'll get that sorted in just a second. I'm Grandis V, and for once I'm not going to be alone today. I'm going to be joined by Morage. Please, how are you doing?
Yeah, unfortunately, guys, you're not getting the grandest solo casting. I have to come spoil it for you. But yeah, doing very well. Looking forward to a couple of America series today. Had some really exciting Dota earlier that you were definitely able to cast there. MFF versus NIP. Got a chance to see the second game. But yeah, looking forward to seeing Elite Wolves play. I widely consider them kind of one of the stronger, if not strongest teams in this bracket.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. TShow recently took on Dowcom and lost 2-0. Although I think those games were fairly close. Still, Dowcom, as far as how they stacked against EWolves, I'd still give EWolves the advantage. And in general, they should be looking good to be one of those top two slots to progress.
Yeah, indeed. So looking strong with their full lineup here. Of course, a lot of these players, former Not Today members. So Elite Wolves have been together. If you guys haven't seen them in the last couple of weeks, they were recently tagged as Sector V and then picked up or sponsored by this Elite Wolves club. So pretty comfortable with one another. Of course, T-Show much the same. Used to be together, at least two or three of their members on Pain Gaming in the former iteration of Pain Gaming in Brazil. So.
Yeah, all of these players should be reasonably familiar with each other, and it should be an entertaining game at the very least. We're going to start things off with Doom, Nightstalker, and Broodmother being banned.
Yeah, no surprises on the Doom ban. Broodmother seems to be kind of intermittently given a little bit of priority towards this first phase and sometimes ends up slipping completely through the pool. So depends on the player-to-player matchup, and it looks like T-Show just really not willing to face up against that. Night Stalker, somewhat worthy of a first phase ban, but still feels like a little underwhelming from T-Show's side here. Definitely a lot of strong heroes still available in the pool to EWolves, although T-Show will have the first pick in this one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And as we shift from the European region, there are a lot more flavor picks for the South American group. They favor Undying and Spiritbreaker a lot higher than the other scenes, and we'll probably see at least one of those in these first four slots.
Yeah, we'll see if they end up grabbing that up. Of course, Queen of Pain going to be banned out of the pool. Still a lot of strong heroes left available to both sides. The IO, don't see it picked up all that often in South America. Definitely see it quite a bit in NA, but we'll see if either team looks to go that route. Either way, still. With a lot available to them, could see a first pick Alchemist from either of these sides. I wouldn't be too surprised to see that come out. But it will be one of those aggressively natured heroes that you were touching upon in the first pick Tusk for T-Show.
Yeah, the Tusk is a little bit more globally regarded as super strong, and I don't think South American Dota has any exception to their opinion on the Tusk. In general, just offers so much utility to the team, and doesn't come at the cost of picking him early on by showing what you're going to be doing with your draft. Right. Although Alchemist is very strong, it's incredibly counterable, and I guess so is the Ember Spirit and a Mirana already for EWolves. Now that's interesting.
Yeah, I feel like they're bypassing a lot of good heroes right now for this opening. Ember Spirit versus the Tusk can draw okay early on, but Tusk can set up later on for him to be dealt with pretty well. Physical damage is definitely one of Ember Spirit's weaknesses, and Tusk can provide enough time for more disables to be chained through. Darkseer is a hero that certainly has been very popular in 685 in general, but has fallen off a little bit more recently, and will be nice up against the melee core of the Ember. I doubt we'll see this Mirana in the 1 position for EWolves, so more than likely right now this Darkseer looking pretty effective in lane.
Yeah, the only player that I've seen play Mirana in recent memory is Pycat, and I suppose you know their team has picked up Mirana a couple of times, even if Pycat's not playing it. But you know what? This is a very interesting choice from EWolves to put this out so early. The big advantage of Mirana I see to be picking up in the second slot is the fact that it shows next to nothing. You can safe lane farm her. She can go off lane, mid, support. No matter what you do with Mirana, as long as she's getting her levels, can contribute. And even an under-leveled Mirana, if you land a good arrow, might not even matter.
Secret actually picked it up in Nanyang yesterday, and of course we're on a pretty tight casting schedule, so unable to see most of that, but able to watch the replay there, and they actually played it in the 1 position because Weehaw kind of took up the farming role, so Pseudo won in the mid lane with his Tiny, but Eternal Envy played that for Secret, and they actually paired it up with the Bane, And against both the Darkseer and Tusk, who are pretty elusive towards that Sacred Arrow, both with the defensive snowball and with the Surge, I wouldn't be too surprised to see the Bane pickup come out for EWolves here. So Wyvern ban already being there, offering that hard disable with the Winter's Curse. I wouldn't be too surprised to see this Bane ban come out as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. It combos really well with the Ember Spirit too. Just getting in range for a guaranteed chains, you can get a lot of reliable burn damage from the Ember, and just as a standalone pick, I think Bane is strong enough to consider as a choice for EWolves. And with this amount of synergy, there is no reason to pass it up, I'd say. It's going to be a Slaughter ban instead from TShow. That's reasonable, I suppose, but although Slaughter is probably a little bit stronger in a vacuum than the Bane, with the amount of synergy on their side, I think leaving Bane in the pool might be a little bit of a mistake. It might come to bite them later down.
Yeah, and I feel like they had pretty good ways already of dealing with the Slardar, with the Tusk and the Seer, and he would have had a pretty rough time, I feel, in both the offlane and the safe lane. And generally, the laning configuration with the Slardar recently has been that he's over in that offlane with either one support or some sort of aggressively natured dual lane. And with the Tusk already being out of the pool, the Doom being banned out, there's very few partners left other than that Undying and maybe the Spirit Breaker to pair up with that Sark in an aggressive dual lane. So very interesting to see that banned out as opposed to the Bane. But either way, some pretty elusive heroes to get away from that Slardar as well in the Ember and Mirana. The Slark ban, speaking of elusive heroes, going to come out for EWolves here. And they're actually going to pick up the Gyro, so more than likely this indicates that Mirana is going to be in the 4 or 5.
Yeah, just roaming around, looking to line up arrows, and on the off chance that one connects, both Ember Spirit and Gyrocopter are good carries at capitalizing very early on with that long duration disable because they have a good amount of damage if they're stuck in place. The Gyrocopter with its Rock Barrage, Ember Spirit with the Chains and Guard. For TShow, it's going to be a Dazzle. Across the board, it feels like TShow are going for a much more standard approach to the draft, even though Ember Spirit and Gyrocopter are by no means bad heroes, and we see them quite often. Seeing them this early and together is very peculiar.
Lich pick is a little curious to me for EWolves. Don't feel like it's strong enough early in the lanes, and I feel like TShow definitely have the propensity to go into an aggressive tri-lane. I mean, Dazzle's widely considered a defensive support, but the Snowball +1 aggressive early hero, much like the Gyrocopter, with that Shadow Wave can kill off an Ember Spirit very quickly early on. Of course, the Shadow Wave being physical damage and the Ember being low base armor, he's very susceptible to that and relies on his Flame Guard for most of his effective tankiness. So I mean, the Lich is going to drag the wave back and give you some extra experience and probably help out your offlaner, whoever that is, but I feel like that leaves this Ember Spirit with a pretty risky situation. And I mean, even if they don't turn their attention towards him early on and they go for the safe lane, a Shadow Fiend should have a pretty good matchup 1v1 mid.
Yeah, and it's not like putting the Lich in the safe lane is going to keep the Ember Spirit 100% safe either. Lich is going to constantly keep that wave pulled back, but that might just be exactly what Darkseer and Tusk want. Of course, they are going to be receiving less income from the lane, but their ability to dive the Ember Spirit is definitely there prior to level 6 for the Ember. Last ban from EWolves, it's going to be an Ursa ban. Very, very interesting. Ursa, in general, is a hero that I think EWolves could have dealt with just by kiting him around. They have so much range and so much ability to keep the Ursa at arm's length that I'm interested to see why they're scared of that. When you see an Ursa, you think mass physical burst, and the heroes that aren't able to deal with that mass physical burst, Huskar and Meepo come to mind, but really, would they be going for either of those? I don't think so. But regardless, TShow are lacking a safe lane farmer, and maybe they would have struggled a bit. Who knows? I don't think there's another safe lane farm that instantly is more threatening than the Ursa.
Yeah, I mean, Ursa is a curious ban, to say the least. As you mentioned, the elusivity and kiteability of the Radiant lineup should have kept them safe more often than not. I mean, they are a little bit weak to physical as a lineup as a whole, but they've got ice armor as well on top of that. So, interesting. They'll pick up the Undying, as you mentioned, and they'll be ecstatic to be able to get it this late into the draft, as much as these teams generally prioritize it. So probably will be at least the Undying +1 in the off lane, if not maybe even that aggressive try. But we'll see who ends up going towards the mid lane here. More than likely will be that Ember Spirit, being as the Darkseer is going to cause him a lot of trouble if he goes towards that safe lane.
Oh, for sure. And for EWolves right now, even if it is just a dual lane, it's probably one of the scariest dual lanes in Dota. Lich and Undying, although they're probably not going to have that much killing potential against it. Anti-Mage is going to have a terrible time farming that lane. Yeah. But that will be the last pick for TShow. I think, all things considered, TShow have a much safer draft, but EWolves have a draft that could very easily snowball out of control. All eyes on this Mirana. Let's see if the arrows connect, and if they do, EWolves have a lot of ways to pressure early before this Anti-Mage and Shadow Fiend come online.
Yeah, indeed. And should be a really good match. I mean, overall, it feels like TShow's draft is very stable. But towards that 12 to 18 minute mark, EWolves are going to be applying immense amounts of pressure towards them. Their mid game is very scary. I mean, just with levels alone, and generally with a Lich on your lineup, you really anticipate being able to rack up the experience, if nothing else.
I'd hate to derail the cast, but let's take a second look at Gyrocopter's cosmetics. I don't think I've ever seen that set before. That's crazy.
He doesn't even have goggles. Does he have goggles?
No, he doesn't have goggles.
I've never seen his eyes. They're so
Gyrocopter,
pretty.
you're beautiful. We'll go on to the dire side of the map. TShow, let's introduce both of these teams. Terrence is going to be safe lane farming on the Anti-Mage. The mid lane Shadow Fiend will be handled by Sis. Supporting them will be King RD on the Dazzle. And the Tusk, who's actually TP'd towards the mid lane. That'll be ZX. And then the Darkseer will be handled by Baga.
Yeah, ZX, the captain, going to take off towards the mid lane, as they will on the other side. EWolves going to be going towards the off lane with the Undying. That's N3, or Be Yourself, picking up the Undying. Did he just drop and deny a sentry? What? Did you see that?
He hit something. Okay. We'll pretend we didn't see anything. Nothing happened.
Farewell, or Masoku, is going to be picking up that Mirana towards the mid lane. Ilanka, Fanboy, or Your Pastor, Smash, is going to be picking up that Ember Spirit. That's going to leave Hihi, or the fabled Mystico, playing up that Lich. And who did I miss here? Where's the Gyrocopter? There he is. Up. Going to be playing the Gyrocopter, also known as Van.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now they're not tagged up properly, but some other interesting things to talk about. It's an Orb of Venom first on the Mirana. It feels like she wants to stick in lane and just poke non-stop. This is going to be very annoying for the Shadow Fiend to deal with in particular. And although normally you don't think of Mirana as a hero that's going to assist in the mid lane and just sit there and be a nuisance, against an SF who starts out with such low amounts of damage, this could work out for her.
Yeah, could indeed. Undying can probably hold his own for the first couple of waves before he's accompanied by either the Lich or the Mirana, or both of them. But for now, it feels like Mystico is probably going to be in the in the mid lane with the Lich to at least gain a little bit of a creep equilibrium advantage for Smash, who will be able to secure that rune.
Alright, they drop the smoke, they pass it over towards the Mirana. I'm not sure if they were trying to hide it, but if they were spotted out by a Dire Observer ward. It's pinged out by the Darkseer, as both the bounty runes will be secured by our presumed mid laners. Smash will grab his on the Ember Spirit, and Sis on the Shadow Fiend will also get that bounty, but yeah, with a couple of raises, the Gyrocopter really wants his first blood, can't quite get it. He went in completely alone. I'm so surprised the Gyrocopter tried to commit for that. I thought it would just be a very passive bounty for bounty split, but Gyrocopter says otherwise. That is first blood for the side of TShow.
Yeah, not the hero you want to be dying early. He's probably going to miss a good chunk of this wave as well, and he's in base ticking his gold away, waiting for a TP to be bought for him or to buy one himself, and he will be able to pick that up now. So actually going to take over towards the off lane, and mid lane, CYS in a lot of trouble. He's going to catch the Frog Blast. The arrow's there, point blank range. Smash can even secure the last hit on that, and now as ZX is going to come in, and he's in a bit of trouble, needs to be a little careful, although Smash is a bit low on the regen. He should be able to pick up his bottle fairly soon here. Does have a couple of shared tangos, but returning to lane soon will be CYS. So Smash needs to be a bit careful, and Mirana or Mystico going to stick around for a bit on the Lich.
That is going to lessen the blow of Shadow Fiend getting the first blood. He didn't have Necromastery when he got the first blood, and his souls aren't going to be coming very quickly for him. But across the board, it looks like TShow are getting a slight edge in all of their lanes because the Gyrocopter was so slow in coming up towards top. Although under his tower, it looks like he's going to get some farm bottom. The Anti-Mage, he was trying to dodge this Undying. EWolves, the lane swap is going to favor them quite a lot. This Anti-Mage will still be pressured. Even though for now it's getting good farm, I don't expect that to maintain the case.
Yeah, and up or Van going to make his way over towards that top lane after that early death near the river. So he should be just fine.
King RD, this Dazzle's going to take a lot of damage. I don't think this is lethal. He has the Grave and a heal, and he's going to be just fine. In fact, the Undying takes a lot more harass out of that. And as for the decay stacks wear off, he's going to be forced all the way back towards base, it seems.
Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate for this Undying. You definitely want to see him get ahead and not give Terrence too much space, but at least for now, Mystical going to be able to drag back the wave for a bit. And it does seem like Masoku is a little bit underfarmed on the Mirana for now. Did create that kill mid lane, but hopefully can find herself some space. Right now, they do not want to give Terrence any room to find these last hits, which are going to be each and every one coveted by the enemy mage early on.
Yeah, the Mirana is going to be a very nomadic role, and for a long part of this game, unless she starts getting a lot of kills, which she's going to try for in mid, she's going to think about shooting an arrow. They chain him down to the ground, the arrow's going to follow up, but he walks forward, and he's going to be able to dodge it. Takes a lot of damage from the creep wave and from the Mirana, but will be just fine unless that arrow connects. Unfortunate for them, it doesn't work, but up towards top lane, Invis, Tusk is going to set up a kill on the Gyrocopter, who is left completely alone.
Yeah, and they did have a ward over by the bottom rune scouting the rotation in from Masoku, so CYS kind of anticipating that, and a nice move forward there for him.
Yeah, absolutely. These lanes are going to end up stabilizing for TShow, it seems. In general, this Gyrocopter's been moving around so much, and although his farm is reasonable, he's died twice this game, and really can't apply that much pressure alone, although he's posturing so far up on this anti-mage. If the Tusk had enough to contribute there, it was just a little bit closer. Maybe even kill him off. The power of double Ion Shell this early is not something that you really want to mess with. Although, for now, TShow don't have a super great read on where the supports from EWolves are. They don't see the Mirana and they don't see the Lich.
Yeah, Masoku, interestingly positioned, to say the least at this point. They do have this Radiant Observer War scouting out any movement from the supports of TShow, but it doesn't feel like he's going to be able to connect with an arrow from here for CYS. So perhaps waiting for a rotation down to that bottom rune, but still 50 seconds away from that. But yeah, as you mentioned, the lane's looking very good for TShow overall, and being up a slight kill advantage as well certainly bodes well for them. Darkseer finding his levels, and ZX, after having to rotate over to that mid lane involved in that one kill, is going to help him out as well, especially considering Mirana is going to be roaming around quite a bit and not really having any time to pull or find experience in lane. So feels like so far things looking good for TShow, and yeah, up a little bit far forward, and actually doesn't have any vision on the Gyrocopter, so it needs to be careful about the rotations in.
Yeah, right now the Gyrocopter is playing this lane blind, and I think he's relying on the fact that Darkseer and Tusk are pretty far back, and granted they are right now, but with the clarity running on this Tusk, they're going to have access to both Snowball and Ice Shards very shortly, and with that and the Ion Shell, this could be a kill on Gyrocopter. Level 2 into the Rocket Barrage, of course, is going to get a good amount of damage on the Terrence here on the anti-mage, but I don't think it's enough to save Gyrocopter's life. He's going to need some sort of rotation from the supports, and EWolves supporting cast just really isn't in any situation to where they can save a Gyrocopter. The Lich is getting good experience. He has 2 points up in that sacrifice, is doing Lich's job, but that doesn't include saving the Gyrocopter's life. Yeah. He has a level 1 Frost Blast, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good support in terms of poking and harass with pretty much the constant spam from the Frost Blast, but not the greatest defensive support. I mean, you TP a Lich into a lane where your core is being aggressed upon, and more than likely he's still going to go down, even if you get perhaps a return kill from some extra hits with the tower. But either way, Masoku mid lane is going to at least posture up aggressively and secure some farm for that Ember Spirit for now. And he's going to run
sketchy. He's going to leap down to the low ground. They won't be able to kill him, but right now, this could go either way. They get the Chains Arrow combo on assist. Defensive Snowball's there to buy him a little bit more time. He's still stunned when he comes out of the Snowball, however, and that's going to be the death of him. Shadowfiend goes down another time this game, but dazzled down towards bottom lane, trading hits with the Undying. We'll throw another Decay. The TP will not work, as Undying kills off the Dazzle with that Soul Rip.
Yeah, so nice engagement there for the Radiant side. EWolves looking good after kind of baiting out the Mirana a little bit, but across the map, things looking good. And now the Gyro finding some space, and Terrence going to be forced out as well by Mystical top lane. TPs are in mid. They're expecting this, and the arrow is going to be soaked up by the creep.
I'm not going to do much at all. This anti-mage still is getting a lot of good farm, however. Even though he's being pressured and they're trying their best to rotate into his lane, he has the highest CS in this game, and still doing alright for himself. By no means are you sad with this anti-mage performance, but another Chains Arrow combo in mid. The Shadowfiend's so low. Again, the defensive Snowball is there, but again, it's just not long enough. They can't save the Shadowfiend's life, and that's going to be another kill for the Ember Spirit, up to 3 this game with no deaths.
So I feel like the biggest point about this Shadowfiend continuously dying is that having the roaming Mirana apply pressure across the map, much like a bounty hunter would early on, has forced them to be unable to prepare any stacks for the Shadow Fiend, and now he's quite a bit behind after a few deaths, only with a Wraith Band in the bottle available to him. Only 15 last hits, and he has no stacks except one double stacked medium camp to recover.
That said, Ember Spirit doesn't have that much farm either. If you just look at the CS, this lane looks pretty even, but then you take a look at their deaths, and the Shadow Fiend has no momentum going his way. And this is a Shadow Fiend that got first blood. This should have been a really good situation for him, but yeah, as you said, it is just the Mirana roaming in another Chain Zero combo. They're going in for round number 3, triple Remnant forward, and smashes on a dominating spree, although inside the Ice Shards, it's going to take a good amount of damage. I don't think it's quite lethal. Can they chase him down? They need a couple more right clicks. He turns around for the chains, and King RD is going to be dropped incredibly low. He has the Shallow Grave. Can they keep the Orb of Venom on him? Can they get this kill? It looks like that answer is also negative. But for the 4th time this game, Ember Spirit finds himself a pickoff, and up towards top, Terrence is going to be chased down by this Gyrocopter, although the Anti-Mage isn't going to die. And down towards bottom lane, another aggressive dive. All of these lanes have so much killing potential.
Yeah, Tusk almost going down there as well, but Mystico not willing to jump forward towards that mid lane. Sees King RD rotating underneath that ward. Hastrune top lane is going to be secured by the Dazzle. Actually denied. Nicely played by Mystico there. So yeah, after the lanes started to look pretty good for TShow, their rotations have been really on point from the Radiant side, and now already with that Bracer up, building towards his drums. Smash looking pretty good with that level 6 advantage in the mid lane. Arrow going to fly out and is going to continue to back CYS off, so still doesn't even have that max Necromastery, neither that or the Shadow Razors. At this point, top lane, Terrence backed underneath his tower. Gyro pressing forward with the Flat Cannon activated. Has the call down available as well, of course. Not really willing to expend it with the Blink available for Terrence. And no disable inbound, but now TP rotations, reactions are coming through. Call down, going to drop the first missile. Is going to catch the Anti-Mage. Terrence going to be able to walk away from the second one. And the Snowball coming through. Probably will not be able to hit. The shards are just short for ZX. And that's going to mean that Van will be able to rotate out on his Gyrocopter. Terrence will find this wave underneath the tower, but he creates a lot of attention top lane and causes quite a big reaction. Perhaps King RD is going to get gone on in mid lane because of it.
Yeah, they don't want to touch this mid lane at all anymore, TShow, and I don't blame them. The Mirana has sat in this lane so long, and after just a couple of good kills, 4 assists for this Mirana, she's up to level 5, and she really hasn't been soaking lane experience almost at all. A little bit here and there, but for the most part, it's just been these kills. Central will be placed down by the Dazzle right as the Observer is placed down by the Mirana. They'll be able to get that D-Ward sooner rather than later, but for now, Dazzle's going to play things a little bit safely. Well, let's see. Can they chase down this Undying? It looks like they will with the Ion Show. Turns for another decay. Eventually Baga's going to be able to burn him down. With no TP support, the Undying will die.
Yeah, nice solo kill going Baga's way. Kind of been the silver lining for TShow's lineup through all this aggression. He's been able to rotate across the map and quietly find his farm. 1200 gold to that Darkseer. See if he ends up building the mech, considering how far behind CYS is, if that was even his original intention, but
yeah, I think they'll need it. That extra healing potential is so very important for the mechanism. I'm not sure if the Skype call has actually dropped. Hopefully, we'll be able to get more Rage Please back in the line shortly. But for now, everything's going to quiet down a bit as the Ember Spirit and Mirana have cooled off. Let's see. More Rage Please, you're still here?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, good.
I can hear you.
You dropped for like 10 seconds or so.
Damn Canada. Blame Canada for it. But tier 1 going to be pressured up top lane, and the wraparound coming from Be Yourself. The Undying going to jump forward, N3. Looking to zone out ZX. Is going to be able to do so successfully in Van, along with Mystico underneath the tower. Going to be able to more than likely take this down with the Glyph on the sidelines. And Smash posturing up real aggressively mid lane. Is going to take a bit of a nuke from the Shadow Wave, but has a defensive Remnant at the ready up on the Radiant high ground. So we'll be just fine and is going to be able to expend that now. The tower, though, pushed into deny range, and with Baga pressing forward along with King RD, they probably...
Oh, Dyer's Courier!
Yeah, the Courier in...
It's dead! It's gone, and they're going to be able to get it with the Mirana. That was a big miss micro. Arrow connects on the King RD. At least they get the tower deny in trade, but that was a Courier that did not need to die.
They got the Shadow Wave off onto the Courier. I don't know if you saw that. Maybe he's trying to use it for a nuke. I have no idea what was going on there. But Smash going to return towards his mid lane. Pop up the drum charge. Jumping forward. Has the Searing Chains available. And will expend them now. The TPs are inbound from the Tusk. He's going to try and get that defensive snowball off. Is able to do so. The Grave is there as well. Smash going to continue to press forward. Sleight of Fist is there. He's going to be able to dodge some. He does get the chains off. They'll tick down that Shadow Fiend, and CYS has had a rough go thus far. Baga going to try and pincer in the Ember Spirit now. Does have another Remnant available, but uses the mana up now. Chains into the arrow. Will keep the Darkseer at bay. Meanwhile, we've got Van on his Gyrocopter pushing in the bottom lane. And it feels like the tempo of this game is going to be firmly in the grasp of EWolves.
And mostly it is because of just that Chains arrow combo. Maybe that would have been a brilliant play. If that works out for the Dazzle and he gets the Courier in for the heal, and I think that's what King RD was trying to do, that would have been awesome. Like, that would have been highlight reel worthy. But in the end, it just dies, so that's a little bit awkward for them. EWolves still firmly in grasp of the tempo of this game. The Shadow Fiend, he's CSing well, right? Like 50 CS at 10 minutes into the game, although Shadow Fiend, he can get more, is not going to be sad with that. It's just that he's died 5 times. It's not something that you can come back from easily without being involved with a couple of kills with the rest of your team. And TShow, the biggest way they have to set up kills is this Tusk, but he's very under-leveled, only level 4.
Mid lane again, CYS going to get caught with that Sleight of Fist Searing Chains combo. He does get the Flame Guard off with a couple of raises and now backing off. The Grave will be there. The arrow just going to be short in terms of range. Ends up expiring, and it will force Smash to Remnant out there. Mystico not going to chase forward for that kill on the SF. Snowball will land. Shards are there as well. Chains, though, going to keep King RD and ZX at bay. And now, with a full bottle, Smash can even look to continue to turn this, but 4 members assembling of TShow. CYS very low on HP. Doesn't look like they're going to be willing to fight this just yet. Shadow Fiend going to rotate back, and Vaga trying to defend up their bot lane by his lonesome. May get wrapped on now by the 3-man trio coming out from EWolves. Smoked up. They've got the Remnant available. They're not going to need it. Sleight of Fist Searing Chains is right overlapped with the Surge. Rocket Barrage going to come through, but the right click, the last hit goes to Smash once again. 6-0-0 on that Ember Spirit. Doesn't even have an assist to his name. What a baller.
Really? I mean, EWolves have been executing these ganks so very nicely. I like that rotation to go for the Darkseer kill, because when you have a Shadow Fiend on your team, there's so much pressure by the enemies and by your own team to protect the SF, or if you're on the enemy's side, to stop the SF from farming. And EWolves have accomplished in making the SF feel really terrible. If you're the Shadow Fiend, you're in their TeamSpeak call, or whatever they're using here, you're asking for assistance. You need help. And the Darkseer, for the most part, has been left alone, but they'll change that up, and now they're going to find a double damage rune for this Ember Spirit. Looks like Smash is going to get himself Boots of Travel next.
Yeah, I really like this build as well from Smash. It's super unorthodox, and you never really see it come out, but the extra AoE, which is in effect extra range on the Sleight of Fist, is really crucial when you have that Mirana on your side, and we've seen how often they've been able to land that combo. Terrence up on the high ground as the anti-mage is in a perilous position, but doubt anyone knows he's there, and they are going to rotate up towards where the Tombstone is being taken down and pretty much bait out King RD and CYS, coming through with a double damage room. Wicked 6 streak for the Ember Spirit, and yeah, they feed over 150 gold, but they get 2 really crucial kills. And continuing their momentum, bot lane Baga going to be hit with the first call down missile at least. Rocket Barrage going to come through. The second one going to finish him off. Shards are going to keep Van trapped, but they've only got the Tusk nearby, and TShow cannot make a reaction out of this one.
Yeah, it really is just that Sleight of Fist Chains combo that's pulling everything through, and he's looking for the Courier. Oh, he gets it with the double damage rune. This Dyer's Courier's had a terrible time. Now they chains up the anti-mage. Arrows there. Terrence dies. Monster kill for Smash. They just aren't leaving any room for TShow at all.
That is some wonderful game sense from Smash as well. He sees the Courier coming over. He assumes someone must be farming this large camp. Goes for the blind slide of Fist Searing Chains combo. Catches the Anti-Mage and Chain Frost mid lane. Shadow Wave not going to do much about that. 13-3. It is a bloodbath. A kill a minute for the EWolves. And only the tier 2 towers left standing as the outer structures for TShow.
I mean, Smash is demanding this much attention. He's 8-0-3, but it's not coming at the cost of farm on the other heroes, too. This Undying has Midas Arcane Boots. They're going to find Vaga again. The arrow's a little bit off the mark, but the right click is enough. Godlike spree for Smash. But yeah, a Midas on this Undying on top of Arcanes. The Gyrocopter's super farmed, and TShow just aren't getting any momentum going their way. Smash has another Remnant TP if he wants to get out of here, but it looks like they're just going to keep him around. He has hardly any fear right now because TShow's disables not enough to kill off this Ember. Tusk just now gets his level 6. Walrus Punch is a very crucial tool, but getting in range for that Walrus Punch is going to be very difficult. Smash is so swift and so elusive.
Yeah, and has the ice armor as well to tank him up, which really is able to rectify that general issue.
Oh, Dazzle. King RD, the chains are going to lock him down in place. He has the Grave. I don't think he can get out of here alive. It's going to be the death of Dazzle soon. They drop the wall, trying to save his life, but one more Sleight of Fist beyond godlike for Smash. And now another chains into Vaga. This time around, they don't have the arrow. They're just running over them.
GG.
The Soul Rip, and yeah, I mean, you're calling it now. I mean, maybe they can find some sort of comeback, but Smash is just running over them. They're going to get another chains. The arrow lines up. The defensive snowballs, again, just going to be short. And now they're chasing down for ZX under his tier 3 tower. Smash is going ham. Another chains. And this is going to be another death soon if they're not careful. He wants it. He tastes it. Triple remnant forward. And then just goes back TP's home. He scares the pants off the Tusk, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, smart play from Smash there as well. Knows how much he's worth at this point, and despite the lead they have, will just drop the 2 remnants and zip back to his defensive one, trying to use the explosion to finish him off, but not too worried about doing so. 11-0-4 doesn't want to feed over that streak gold, which is a hell of a lot for this point in the game. 17-3, 15 minutes in, very reminiscent of the Mirana game played by Secret against DC the other day. It was exactly 17-3 when the game was called at 12.5 minutes. So TShow, to their credit, has been able to last more minutes, but right now it is looking grim.
It really is. And that Mirana was also a safe lane farming Mirana. She's found so many openings with very little. Oh, the chains. They're going to try for him. Anti-Mage is going to be caught out by them. They snowball into the Mirana with the Walrus Punch and Ice Shard. She'll be dropped low, but is able to jump over those shards. But now the Tusk brought down by the Sleight of Fist. That's another kill, the 12th of the game for Smash. And there is no map left for TShow. This is not a happy place for them. And I wouldn't be surprised if they call GG soon. Maybe not yet. The Anti-Mage hasn't died very much. He's only died once. And for this game, that's impressive in and of itself. And maybe with the Battle Fury, they're able to come back. What they need is for Smash to play over-aggressive. And he is playing very aggressive, but he hasn't broken the limit yet. They need him to die.
All things considered, his CS is pretty admirable, but...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's still only level 9, nowhere near ready to fight at this point. The Ember Spirit has the Boots of Travel and the Remnant, which means he can be anywhere on the map at any given moment. They haven't found any structures yet, so they are starting to farm the Radiant Jungle, which is, I mean, for all intents and purposes, the safest place on the map. But it's only a matter of time before this lineup of EWolves either 5-mans and looks to poke at their base, or just figures out where they are and continues to pick them off. TP's in to the creep on the Radiant side are going to be canceled for now, as they do see CYS get off to the west, and they're just going to continue to play objective-based gaming from EWolves' side, and why not?
How sad is it for the Shadow Fiend? He pops his Invis Rune. Of course, he has avoided the gank, but he finds no creeps except for a small Centaur there. He'll cut the creep wave. This is the best Shadow Fiend can do, but instantly has to TP out, and he doesn't even get most of the creep wave. It's only going to delay the inevitable, and right now, Tier 2 Tower is going to fall in favor of EWolves, as they have everything they could want to be battle-ready at this point. And TShow have no such items. The Tusk is only level 6. Nothing completed on him. Dazzle has 4 sentries, and that's about it.
Terrence needs to get out.
Let's see if he can. I mean, the Ember Spirit is a little bit far away, but he's sticking around too long here. Can they catch vision on him? Right now, they don't know the Anti-Mage is here necessarily. The Anti-Mage does know that they are here, and he's going to blink TP. This is what the Anti-Mage has to do. He needs to demand focus from the enemy side and then get out in the nick of time, or else they just lose this game. TShow can't take this passively.
He's only 1,200 or 1,000 away from that full Battle Fury, and once he gets that, as long as he's diligent about keeping his TP timings, and they have some of this aggressive vision, let's just say vision on the other side of the map for him, he will be able to effectively cut waves much more so than CYS was mid lane. So he can certainly stall out the game here, but they really don't have much in the way of space creation aside from him, and the Shadow Fiend, of course, has nothing. So yeah, all in the back of Terrence at this point. CYS going to TP in bot lane, look to defend this up. For now, it's only 2 heroes, but they are going to be accompanied by both the Undying and the Gyrocopter, and probably queue up a push on this tier 2. There is a glyph available for the Dire, and not sure that they're willing to TP this. Perhaps they go for some sort of smoke wrap play, but only the 1 TP on the Darkseer right now.
Yeah, I really like the choice of Mirana to go for this Gem of True Sight. They don't need any items on this bottom, but denying away the vision away from TShow is going to make it so hard for them to be able to make that play and keep the Anti-Mage safe as he's out split pushing, or as safe as he can be, right? They're going to use the Courier to de-ward the high ground spots. The only wards that TShow aren't spotting any rotations, and once they spot a rotation, it will only be one. The Battle Fury is online for the Ember Spirit. They're going to clear up this Ancient Stack away from the enemy side, and this is something that TShow really wanted their Anti-Mage to be getting, but it's just not that state of the game. It's 18-3. This is a disgusting lead for EWolves, and I'm not sure if I really want to look at the graphs, but yeah, they're not pretty. It's almost 20,000 net worth in their favor, 20 minutes in the game, and 14,000 experience. Not much better there.
Yep, it's certainly looking a little bit out of hand at this point, and there's really no great item progression to speak of for the Dire side, but 50 gold away from that Battle Fury. And perhaps that is a linchpin for this lineup to claw its way back into relevance. But, I mean, they are having their vision starting to be denied up. And now with this extra life going to be accrued by EWolves side, I mean, they will be able to chip at high ground. And they are just far too powerful relative to TShow for them to really mount a defense.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Roshan is going to give them a second life, so even if they bring down the Gyrocopter once, they have to bring him down the second time. The good news for them is that this Gyro has gone for a very aggressive build, and not a lot of defensive items can they kill off Smash up top. They blink forward, they have the snowball, but that shouldn't connect.
He's got
right?
a Remnant as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's just going to play that out as long as he can. He'll just Remnant out to safety, nothing doing there. But now Mirana's here with the Moonlight Shadow, and might be able to line up an arrow. Although right now the Radiant team do not have the
Mystical
vision.
Mystical in a little bit of a risky position. He's underneath a Sentry Ward right now, but CYS is backing off, and it kind of shows you the state of the game. Now Smash is going to rotate in. He gets that Sleight of Fist Searing Chains combo off. King RD is here for the Grave if need be. Jump forward from Farewell. He's going to get the Starfall off before the Grave. They're going to kill the SF. King RD forced to Grave himself, trying to TP out here. Chains are down onto Smash, so the Dazzle will make it away, but still they get the SF, and more than likely, as this wave continues to push, we'll be able to remove this last outer tier tower. But for now, they'll turn their focus towards the Anti-Mage in the mid lane. And Terrence does not have a TP on him. At this point, there's no ward scouting this out. And rotating in, looking for the Sleight of Fist, barely misses the chains onto the Anti-Mage. And Terrence will be able to make it out for now, but he'll walk over to the Ords, the Ancients, and find that what was waiting for him is now gone in that stack.
Yeah, this is really hard. Even though Anti-Mage is farming well, considering the game state, Anti-Mage is a carry that kind of needs to be ahead in order to be a potent threat. Right now that he's behind, one disable connects, and he's just gone. I say that, maybe this Chains isn't going to be lethal, still drops him down to half. If there was any follow-up to that Ember Spirit, he is. And he's only safe because he has this entire team behind him. That's Smash going in effectively 1v4 and getting away with it.
Yeah. He's more than able and willing to be able to put himself up on the front lines, considering how farmed he is. Could use a little bit of tankability on top of his item build right now, but the drums keep him safe and up at this point.
That is the way they lose this game. I'll be honest, Gyrocopter's gone for a Divine Rapier. Although, granted, Anti-Mage and Shadow Fiend are not the best Rapier carriers. If they bring down this Gyro, they might be able to take this game. But he has an Aegis of the Immortal. It's very hard. And with it, they're going to be ending this so very fast. And now it says, caught out by the chains. Calldown's going to be thrown on the ground. Nobody dies yet, but they can't stop these buildings from falling. Divine Rapier Gyro makes quick work of that. They'll take down the tier 3, looking for another change, catches out Baga. They haven't thrown the arrow towards him yet. Gyrocopter obliterates him, my goodness. The damage to his Gyrocopter is insane. Double kill, not going to find the triple, although the Ember Spirit might be Sleight Fisting inside the well. Won't find the Shadow Fiend, but what they will find is the Rax, and there's nothing to repel them out of the space. Even though Gyrocopter's low, still has that second life, and now he's not low anymore. One Soul Rip, and he's back up and running. The amount of levels on this Undying is ridiculous because of mice, and the arrow connects. Oh, yeah, that's a dead Tusk. He dies to the Starfall.
Yeah, this is, effectively, I mean, GG at this point. Good guy Van gonna get some items for the fans, buying up that Rapier. But yeah, feeling really hubris, feeling a lot of hubris at this point, I should say. Walking into that base, and unfortunately not able to delay it out long enough for TShow. So they'll drop the game 1, and EWolves will take it
The
pretty
Radiant Station
convincingly.
explodes! GG! They did it! A great comeback. But no, EWolves, that was so impressive. How many times and how consistently they landed that combo in mid lane with the Sleight of Fist chain. Shadow Fiend got nothing. And the Ember Spirit got everything. 12-0 and 7. He's not even the one with the highest GPM. It's Gyrocopter because he was using all of that space that was being created with 200 last hits and a Divine Rapier by the end of the game. What more can you want? Moving on to game number 2, EWolves should be feeling very happy.
Yeah, Gyrocopter feeder as well. 2 deaths. That's
highest in the team.
66% of the team's deaths with the highest GPM. But yeah, very well played from Smash, and more than anything from Masoku or Farewell on the Mirana was able to create a lot of opportunities for them early game.
See you later for game number 2. Let's see if TShow can pull this back to a 1-1.